Welcome back to this tutorial series on working with the True32 Project Tracker Airtable template. In this video tutorial, we will take a closer look at the production status in the Project Tracker Airtable base. This is an awesome app, but it takes some practice to master it, so I recommend you schedule some one-on-one time to learn the basics. Then we can move on to more advanced topics. Several sessions is better than a baptism by fire multi-hour marathon session. You can schedule one-on-one sessions here at my website. Just go to the store and go to either the online or on-site. If you're someone that wants to spend more time and on other projects other than this one, you might want to do some on-site stuff, but either of these two items here would be where you would schedule time for one-on-one, and that's at bobobuckley.com. Remember, you're making a custom app. How cool is that? And you can customize it in any way you see fit. So our objective for this session is that everyone who works for you knows the right thing to do and is motivated to do it, keeping in mind that we're thinking of this entire base as our single source of truth. So if your employees are wondering what they need to work on next, they would come here. So first and foremost, we're on the Projects tab, and we've chosen of all of these views that are available, this Production Status view. This Production Status view, as you can see here, the stacked by status is telling you that we're using the status field to create these columns. So if we were to look at this in all projects view, we would see that this first column here is that status column. And so you can define these by simply adding new statuses. If we come into this status field and say customize, here's all of those statuses we've created, from ballpark estimate, selection estimate, all the way down through complete. And if you've got some processes that belong in here, you just simply add them, and when you grab these little bars, you can see how it turns to a hand there. When you grab those little dots, then you can move these up and down wherever you need them to be. One caution is that you don't want to use this alphabetize option. It's awesome for some places, but in this case we wouldn't want to alphabetize this. This is the sequence of events, working from the first step to the last step. So you wouldn't want to use the alphabetize option. So going back to our production status, we see that we're using that status to create this sequence of events. And obviously these projects need to go from the far left all the way to the far right. That's the objective. And in this case, I've added some new fields here recently, and you'll see them here. This job cost lookup. Now, if they haven't had a proposal made at this point, then there won't be a number there. I've got it set to where it doesn't show anything if there's not a number. And so in these first few steps, this one's just kind of been the one we've been playing with a lot, so it's got that number filled in. But as you get past this proposal stage, from here on over, from proposal, engineering, machine, assembly, all of those steps, if you had a bunch of jobs in here, they would have this dollar cost in them. Where that's going to be helpful, two things. Number one, wherever these jobs are stacked up, if you see a lot of jobs in proposal or in engineering or in machining, that is a real telltale sign that you've got a constraint, that's your weakest link. But you can also, looking at these numbers, tell where your money's sitting. So if all your money is sitting, let's say right here in assembly, and this being pre-assembly, not hardware, hardware's here. But if you see all these jobs stacked up here, it doesn't mean that this is necessarily the constraint. It's probably this is the constraint. The item past where you see things backed up is probably your constraint. But it also allows you, by having this number, this lookup of your job cost, to know how much money is sitting there waiting to move forward. So that's a really good dashboard to be looking at frequently. Another thing this provides is accountability. So each employee would be assigned one or more of these columns, and you may have a couple employees. You might even include that employee's name in this name. So maybe over here in engineering, you would have somebody's name, hyphen Joe or Jim. By doing that, you've assigned this area to someone, creating accountability. And if you've ever read the book Good Profit, you'll recognize the term decision rights. If you haven't, I recommend you do read it, by Charles Koch. Just like owners typically take better care of their property than renters do, when an employee owns well-defined areas of work, they take greater pride and responsibility of the outcomes. This greatly improves your results, especially when the role is a good fit for the employee's skills and abilities. So keeping in mind of those decision rights and those responsibilities, bad decisions remove decision rights. Good decisions add additional decision rights. In that case, it really is easy to weed out good and bad employees by having these accountability areas. When you slide something into someone's area, when you slide something into the engineering area, and you've got a guy named Jim that's responsible for engineering, his job is to get that into the machine area as soon as possible. That's his accountability, and he owns that and the decision rights that come with owning it. So accountability is a great part of this, being able to see visually your schedule, where you're at, and see where your dollars are sitting. That's it for this tutorial on the production status in the Project Tracker Airtable base. Next, we'll take a closer look at the just added payment tracking area of the Proposal tab. Thanks for watching.